朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看本周的对话好莱坞，我是主持人SueWong。在好莱坞有这样的一位华裔设计师，他曾经为 Taylor Swift 和摇滚巨星 Steve Tyler 等明星制作过红毯的战袍，他就是 SueWong。今天呢，我们来到了他位于北好莱坞的豪宅，来参观一下他这个美丽的传奇房子，也跟他聊聊他在好莱坞闯荡的经历。It's so good to be your house, the Cedar. It's such a gorgeous house.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Well, thank you for being here. This was really quite an honor because I'm really just introducing myself and making my services available for design in architecture, home, and interiors and lifestyle.
Well, I believe a lot of us know you for a fashion designer.
Yes, I'm well known as a fashion designer, but actually as a creative intuitive, I'm so well versed in so many different categories of creativity. And fashion design is something that I chose as my particular medium of creative expression and as a professional career. But as an all-around artist, I can do so many different things. I mean, I can draw, I can paint, I can do architectural design, I could do interior design, furniture design, I can do flower arrangements, I can do styling for photo shoots, for fashion shows, I can design jewelry, I can design handbags, shoes, I've designed furniture. As a matter of fact, the chair that you're sitting on is my design.
Oh, this is absolutely unique with the black line.
Yes, it's called piping.
Oh.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's go back to the very beginning of your art career. Did you start in fashion?
No, actually, I wanted to be a fine artist, but my parents, basically being very old world Chinese and very conservative, wanted me to be like an accountant or a teacher or something like that, and it just really wasn't me. So I started in fashion at age 16 when I was really chosen out of about 350 girls to represent my school for the May Company High Fashion Board. So we modeled, we sold on the floor, we did store displays. So that's how I got my interest in fashion. And also because my mother used to really make me funny looking clothes that were very Chinese, you know, immigrant looking. And so I started to really, you know, sew and make my own clothing at age 9.
Age 9?
Yes.
Wow. And did you start, so obviously we know your style is old Hollywood glam. Did you start from that?
Well, you know, actually I had my one-of-a-kind boutique store on Venice Beach many years ago. And back in those days I would buy vintage clothing by the pound. But we had all the good stuff back in those days because we're talking about a few decades ago. But we would have beautiful clothing from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I would really cut out these really beautiful embroideries or the detailing of each, you know, design. And then I would really design a new gown, but I would applique the old beadwork or embroideries onto it to really make it a new design, a new old design. So I've always really, you know, loved vintage style because I'm sort of a romantic at heart, and I may have really had a life or an incarnation in the 20s or 30s or something like that, you know. So I really relate very well to that jazz age.
Yes, and now your brand is obviously well known, sold all over the world. Did you remember the first breakout of a fashion career?
Well, yes, actually, I started out very young. I've been designing professionally since I was 19 years old. The first breakthrough came for me within 1 month of enrolling into LA Trade Tech. I won a first place scholarship that was sponsored by a big company by the name of Arpegia. And then about 3 to 4 years into my career, I was called back by Arpegia to become the #1 designer for the Young Edwardian label. And I took them from $3 million to $52 million in a 3-year period.
Wow.
Now back in those days, this was like, 35 years ago or whatever it was. Don't forget that $52 million is the equivalent of $500 million today. So I was a huge, success, and that's why I had 4 homes by the time I was 25 years old. I was living a jet set lifestyle, jetting on the Concorde to Paris and London, and I was a huge success. I sort of was living the American dream, or the American dream success story by the time I was 25.
And it was all happened in LA.
It all happened in LA, yes. I came from China directly to LA, and I've been living in LA ever since. Even though I've been offered many times to go to New York, for them to really make me an instant household name, but I never really decided to really go there. I just really always, LA has always been my home.
And your inspiration, I'm guessing, Hollywood.
Well, no, not just really Hollywood. I don't really limit myself to just being inspired by one thing. I'm inspired by many, many different things, by nature, by art, by history, by culture. I really love, indigenous culture of ancient people and of ethnic people, for instance, I'm inspired by the colors of nature. I'm inspired by different periods of art, and it's not just really about old Hollywood. I love that aspect of glamour, but I'm not just really exclusively inspired by that.
And as I heard just now, you've been through kind of like a downfall in your career after being very successful, right?
Yes, that happened when I was 30.
Yeah,
yes.
And how did that feel, and how did you get over that?
I just really was very determined to make it, because I always really have a very strong sense of my destiny, and I just really see adversity as life lessons, The talent never left me, but, external circumstances in my life really affected, certain things, but my talent was always intact, and I always believed in my own talent.
And now you're transitioning to pretty much a whole different career path.
Well, yes and no. I'm still designing. I'm still designing clothes, but I just won't be the distributor or the manufacturer of it anymore.
So the business side will be...
Yes.
Okay.
So the business side is going to be handled by somebody else, a licensee. So, it will just extend not only to fashion and all the different classifications of fashion, which would really be, in my case, my core label is really evening wear. It could be contemporary, dress wear. It could be contemporary sportswear. It could be bathing suits. It could really be children's wear. It could be men's wear. It could be shoes. It could be handbags. It could be jewelry. It could be hats. It could be umbrellas. It could be sunglasses. Those are all fashion licenses. In addition to that, I am now opening up for home. I already have a bunch of licenses already. If you look at my brochure, did you get a brochure of mine?
Yes.
Okay, if you look at that brochure, you will see that I have a perfume. I have, bedding. I have a pen license. I have vintage tub. I have, picture frames and mirrors and crown molding. So it's already started to happen. So that means that in the future, besides these licenses that are related to home, such as plates or china and porcelain, or forks or cutlery, or stemware, glassware, or placemats, or pillows, or furniture, it's all under the licensing of home. And in addition to that, I'm also opening, myself to be able to be available to design new homes. So in the future, there will be SueWong homes for sale, SueWong designer homes for sale, where I get involved and design the architecture, the interiors, and everything else.
So the entire home package.
Yes.
In SueWong style.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Well, Asia Society a few years ago, I won the Visionary Award, and I happen to have been the only woman to win. You know, I think I was up on stage with about 6 or 7 men who won the award. But I was the only woman, you know, given the top honors. And, you know, my dream actually, you know, since you're from China, right?
Yes.
So my dream is to really go back to my motherland, to really bring my brand to China, to inspire Chinese women how to empower themselves, because I was a rejected daughter. And I think women are very oppressed in China. So I really am all about female empowerment. So I would really like to really give them that inspiration to really give Chinese women the confidence. And also through my brand of beauty, magic, transformation, and glamour, I would really like, you know, to show Chinese women how to really, you know, become more beautiful in terms of their clothing, in terms of their makeup. I would love to have a makeup line out of China, skincare products, you know, as well as, you know, how to really show them how to live in a beautifully creative environment for their home.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So we're going to see your product in China soon.
I hope so.
That's
yes.
gorgeous.
Yes.
And also we know you're known for, you're also a famous art collector. You collect
Yes, I am.
many pieces. What do you say your style or philosophy in art collecting?
Well, you know, basically I talked about it today, but my mantra is beauty, magic, transformation. Anything that is really beautiful is what I really gravitate towards in terms of, you know, what I create and what I stand for. My personal taste in art is probably more abstract than literal. In particular, I'm very partial to early 20th century art. So I really love, you know, because it was basically a very radical change in the movement of art, you know, from Victorian art or romantic art to this very abstract, brave new world of early 20th century art. For instance, when Picasso and Braque invented Cubism, that was a really huge breakthrough and very, very revolutionary, as the world has never seen that kind of art before, or German Expressionism, for instance, you know. And you know, the Russian avant-garde, I love all of those, you know, Bauhaus, I really love those early 20th century art movements.
Any big move in art collecting recently?
Well, I basically, you know, I do have one famous Andy Warhol painting of Mao Zedong, you know, of Chairman Mao, and that sits, you know, behind my desk in my executive office. But mostly I collect my own contemporaries, because I really feel that it's really more appropriate for me to really collect my own contemporaries, which happen to really be all my wonderful, very brilliantly talented artist friends.
So we know that you have many properties, many homes. What are the relationship between these homes?
Well, I have 3 homes that I live in, and I call them body, mind, and spirit, because, you know, I'm a spiritual oriented person. So because everything that, you know, is really of this life, I really pay very close attention to, because everything in life is very symbolic and very metaphorical. So, you know, body, mind, and spirit, the Cedars is a beautiful, I think of her as a beautiful grand woman, grande dame. So she's very feminine, and, you know, so she has all these very beautiful grand sensibilities. So she's a realm of the feminine body. I have a very modernistic and beautiful home at the beach in Malibu. And it's perched high on a bluff, and it's a 180-degree blue water, white sand view. And so it's really my temple of modern art, because I'm a huge modern art collector. I probably have about 200 pieces of modern art in my collection. So this Cedars is one type of museum. It's really more of a museum than a home. But my home in Malibu is also a museum, but is a museum of modern art. It's all loft style, everything is open, You know, I basically have walls of glass that really open up to the view, and everything is integrated where you're really welcoming nature and the outdoors indoors into your living space. And you know, so it's very high ceilings like this, but maybe a little higher. And it's got white walls everywhere, and it's all completely filled with art. So it's like an artist's loft.
Talking about home, did you originally from mainland China?
Yes, I am from mainland China.
And then you moved to Hong Kong, right?
Yes.
What was the story? What was the original?
Well, you know, my father had come to America as a young man, and he worked very hard for 7 years. And then he decided to, you know, go back to China to take a bride because he was, you know, getting old and turning 30. Yes. And then, you know, so he stayed behind for a number of years, and my mother became pregnant with me, and then Mao had his revolution. He quickly escaped, and then my mother was pregnant and she couldn't leave. So subsequently the communists took over and they closed the entire country up, and my mother and I were trapped inside. But my mother longed to really be reunited with my father. So they, you know, quickly hatched a plan with the relatives, and they bribed the border guard with my mother's wedding jewelry that was sewn into a little pillow. So I remember clutching this little pillow forever, and then she handed it to the border guard, who released us to our freedom into Hong Kong, and that's basically how we really, you know, came to the West. So I came to the West with my mother when I was 6.5 years old, and you know, I come from very, very humble circumstances because my father was a launderer. You know, so in the old days, and the Chinese were either chefs or they really were launderers. You know, they had Chinese laundries or they had grocery stores. Those were the three professions for old-time Chinese people. So basically, I come from very humble circumstances. But, you know, through my own ambition and my will to really better myself, I just really decided that I was going to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be an artist, but my parents would not really support my education. So I went to a trade school, and I left after 3 months, you know, because I just really wanted to really work. And being a creative intuitive, I don't really have to rely on any, you know, school of training to know what I know, because, you know, everything that I do is from my heart and from my spirit. So basically, that is what a creative intuitive is. I create from, you know, from basically my intuition. It's really knowledge from within, you know. I don't recommend that everybody takes my route, because not everybody is a creative intuitive like me. But, you know, I just really think that, you know, basically people really have to have a vision of what they want. And then, you know, they have to really follow that vision, and they really have to inhabit that vision and really dream it and live it in order for it to be alive. And so that's what I did. You know, I basically followed my bliss, as one of my teachers, Joseph Campbell, taught. You have to really follow your bliss to be true to yourself. So I followed my bliss, and therefore I'm living my dreams. So that can happen to everybody, but you have to be very passionate about what you want, and you have to believe in yourself. So I encourage all young people who basically have a dream to never give up on it. And then they have to really follow that to the very end until it manifests. Because if you put your energy into anything, it will come true. And then you really have to be very careful of what you really wish for, because you have to be ready for it when it comes true. A lot of people, you know, fame comes very easy for them, but let's say the Lindsay Lohans of this world, or the Justin Biebers, you know, it's too much too soon, at too young of an age, and they're not really equipped with the wisdom to handle it. So you have to really be ready for fame, ready for fortune when it comes to you, so you don't abuse it. Because if you do not respect success, if you do not respect money, it will be taken away from you. So you have to be very careful of what you wish for. But I do believe that if you really have a dream and you hold that vision and you are true to that vision, it will come true.